G'day and welcome to the Outer Reaches, and we've got a real treat today because not only is it Outer Reaches, which is probably one of my favourite maps, we also have the mighty, the wonderful, the ultra primo sexy Tex, one of my favourite DAO players of all time, without a doubt, playing the Hive Tyrant, who is just a big, massive, blobbing, bashing machine of wonder, versus HamDuck, who I don't actually know, but if he stands up to Tex, he must be a pretty good player, because Tex is one of the greatest players that I have seen. He just wins tournament after tournament after tournament, and he's a great all-rounder as well. And it'll be very, very interesting to see. He is playing the Apocryphy, which is getting a lot of flack at the moment because this guy's going to upgrade to the Sanguine Chain Sword. There is talk about whether it's a bug or whatever, but the regen is just off the fucking charts at the moment. It is kind of pathetic. Okay, so Tex does a strange move right at the beginning, which I miss. He heads right into the enemy base. And we have a double Termagant Brood. Now Tex is traditionally a Orc player in competition, I think it is, but I have seen a lot of his replays seem to be playing more Nids, and that is good because Nids are awesome. And here we have the APOP coming around to get into these middle nodes where a lot of stuff is going to start happening. And Tex is absolutely, completely capping the map and using that extra mobility of the early Nids to his advantage. But let's just have a look. How long does it take? And you see this actually a lot in Nids. He hasn't got the cap on this one yet, I don't think. And come and uncap, be a very, very nice uncap, and we're going straight for a power bash. It is so important to bash Space Marine power, especially when you're playing an APOF, because he is so dependent upon that early war gear upgrades. And we have a nice Warrior Brood coming out with some melee awesomeness. But these should put a quick stop to that Gen harass. Hive Tyrant has finished decapping that node, which is a very, very crucial node. Now, as you probably noticed, you ever notice these little numbers above the nodes? That means that how much wreck it's producing every tick, right? And these mature over time. So this one's only 10, and this one over here might be at 30. So it's not only when you decap someone's node, not only are you depriving them of the time that it's capped and the time it takes to recap, you're also depriving them of the time that it actually produces more wreck, because that takes a while for it to completely, you know, mature. Okay, this Hive Tyrant going to have to get that charge ability and quick smart if he wants to deal with those Devastator Marines. But here we go. He has not got the Sanguine upgrade, and we have a beautiful pincer attack coming from top and bottom and the side, completely rorting this, and once again the power is going to be very well smashed. And Tex is just doing a really, really good job of controlling the technology of the HamDuck. But he has gotten the, you know, he has got the Assault Marines, which is a very, very powerful unit and does combo extremely well with the APOF. So we'll just see how that all goes. And this entire blob is probably going to be forced off pretty smart. But he decides to try and stop the capping from the Hive Tyrant. And again, he's uncapped this node. those guys are going to have to get out of there pretty quickly. Have a quick, complete swing and a miss by the warrior brood. And here's the third Tormagant brood. Now, it usually seems to me that you see 3 Tormagants, then the warrior brood. And to be honest, I've never really been particularly happy with the warrior brood and the barbed strangler as an upgrade choice in a Tyranid army, especially in tier 1. I think it synergizes much better with leaving it as a melee choice and then upgrading it in tier 2 once the ranged blob is really running. But you can already see we haven't actually seen a lot of work coming out of the Apocryphy. Well, I haven't, but it is at like 0 energy, and he's coming to decap this node. And in these lulls in combat, it is really vital to get in there and decap those, you know, plus 30 rec nodes that we were talking about before. But yeah, these guys are going to be in trouble. They're probably going to have to jump away, but they decide not to waste. Tex's controllers all over the map. Now, you don't really see a lot of this with NID players, is this kind of split focus aggression across all areas of the map, and that is something that is really unique to top tier players. I've said it before, and I really think Choco is probably the master of this. I mean, his ability to change his position, you know, and like just be able to split his focus into vastly different areas of the map at the same time is pretty legendary. But Tex is no slouch at this either, and it's really showing here. But, you know, I mean, I've been praising Tex a lot because, you know, I've been following his gameplay for so long, but seriously, HamDuck is not doing bad at all. He's got wreck coming out the wazoo. He's had absolutely great unit preservation, so he's focusing mainly on, you know, just getting into tier 2, I believe. And tier 2 is coming up for Tex, so we're probably going to see a Venom Brood to get that plus, I think it's plus 35% synapse to range damage. And it is worth noting that the with having his hero so far away, ooh, he goes for that decap, but he's going to get pushed off again by the Devastators. Very good choice. Here we go. Still no upgrades on the war gear upgrades. Some APOTH players are not getting the Sanguine Trading Sword out of protest. Interesting place to put down a power gen farm. I don't know why Tex must really want to get that extra power out, because he did spend the wreck to get a whole power gen, and he has a full gen farm right here that's been completely unmolested the entire game. This is really a complete waste of time. He is holding up the army. Those Termagants have to back out to get back into ranged. And that is a perfect example of why I would have kept the squads in melee. Now this is this new squad, which is quite interesting. It's a fairly cheap squad, and it's paid for with rec, but what it is extremely good at is tying up Devastator squads, which is why it's extremely strange that it has been popped and just sent to its suicide. These guys better get the hell out of there. And again, his forces have split up so they can cap different areas of the map at the same time. So, I mean, that's a perfect example. He's capping 4 areas of the map at once now. Plus, he has another 2 coming in here to tie up his forces and tie up HamDuck's, attention, which is pretty damn important. And the apocryphal goes for the mastercrafted bolter and the improved medical equipment. As I said, some people are really deciding to ignore the extremely powerful sanguine chainsword because it's, there is talk. I can't remember, is it bugged or is it just really powerful and fucked up when they did the patching? Who knows? But the point is, a lot of people don't want to play it. But the thing is, the Mastercrafted Bolter is a very, very good choice. It does extremely good damage, and it does have this charged kind of shot ability that can completely tie up major characters. If we're lucky, we're going to see this in effect at some point. Fighting all over the map. Now, it is interesting to note that because of the Synapse ability, the Tyranid forces are much weaker when they're split up. Yeah, so we'll probably see it, but single shot units, and here we go, straight to the Librarian. Excellent choice. I love the Librarian, and his smite ability can absolutely wreak havoc. But here we have some Gene Stealers, and everyone's got to get the hell out of there. Quick, smart. Now, what have we got here? We've got the Crushing Claw, and we have got the Extended Carapace. So we've got no real ability armor, just making him one tough motherfucker. But these Gene Stealers are absolutely crushing, and they need to get out of there right now. You can see the heals going off from the APOF, and again Tex lets his Hive Tyrant go straight into the base. Ooh, smite. He could go down here. Nice. He was coming down with the Warrior Brute to put down that slowing wire. And this guy, I mean, what are they doing? Nothing. Time to get out. Escape. And again, hitting the power. Not quite sure exactly how useful a power bash is at this particular moment, but it is worth noting that there's only a single rec node for HamDuck that is under anyone's control besides Texas at the moment. But HamDuck is split all over the map, capping. He's getting this wrecked point, and he's going up for the... Yes, I have to get out of there. And he looks like he was heading for... I don't know what these Marines are doing. Absolutely nothing. It's a perfect example of a player that doesn't have Tex's amazing ability to split his attention, because they could have well been capping over here at that time. Okay. Saboom. Veil of Time. It looks like he has gotten the charge ability. Extended Carapace. Oh, that's what he had last time. I freaking read that wrong. Anyway, whatever. He does have the charge ability, which is no surprise. And Tex is heading to Tier 3 quite early, really, and he has absolutely... Look at all his wreck. That is a perfect example of just how insanely good he has been at keeping map control. And you can see here his power, and that really does explain why he tried to sneak in that 4th gen. But now it's looking a completely different story. Blue is all over the map, and HamDuck is really going to get into a good position here. These guys are no match for that little Space Marine blob and need to get the hell out of here, though they will be disrupted. Completely useless grenade. Oh, nice knockdown. extremely good. Those guys are all in retreat, so it takes a lot of damage. And here we are. He knows he hasn't got time, so he is going to go for the decap here. He doesn't have time to bash all that power, but controlling that power is extremely vital. But here comes the Texaneous to control that, and those guys are going to be forced off. Meanwhile, these Devastators are going to be pushed back by the charge. No, he's going to run back into... we're going to try and intercept this melee, but seriously, Space Marines, they're just so tough, it's really not going to make any kind of difference. But having these people knocked off at the field at the moment... Ooh, and here comes a Warrior Brood cooldown, I believe, and that's going to send everybody running for their lives. Salute! And, again, Smite, and everyone has to get the hell out of here, including these guys who are capping. And this Devastator squad is doing an absolutely fantastic job at controlling this field. But Tex being Tex, he is capping all over the place up the top here. And wow, his wreck is just off the chart. 900. We're going to see a Swarm Lord possibly, but he doesn't have that much power. Salute. I think HamDuck is playing extremely well. I mean, he did have an absolute crushing loss of map control earlier in the game, but it really hasn't slowed him down that much. I mean, Space Marines excel in late game and are weak in the early game, so the longer the match goes, the more in favor, in a way, it becomes for the Space Marines. Smack. Just love these Ultramarine skins. Just so depressing that it costs $7. I don't know, have you played like the Space Marine game, like the the console game they made where you sort of bash the shit out of things like in that Batman game? They've got to get away again. Tex taking it into the base. It's just crazy. But yeah, that game has what Dawn of War 2 should have, which is just a completely customizable multiplayer skins where you can make your own skins and have like 80 different fucking helmets to choose from and just dress them up exactly the way you want. That's really what this game needs. Looks like those scouts are going to pull the... No, they don't. Tex sees them and does escape. Ooh, we might see a first squad loss. Whoa. Unfortunately. And here comes the Swarm Lord. This is not good. HamDuck needs to... He does have two... He does have a tactical Marine squad. He might have to change that up though to deal with this Swarm Lord. He is in tier 3, so he's probably waiting to get those Terminators, but he might need to pull out a tank at some point or something to deal with these Swarm Lords, or at least get some missile attacks or something. Because this Swarm Lord is pretty much going to crush. I mean, having a Librarian is not going to help too much at this stage. Do finally get a 2-cap in HamDuck's lead though. And out comes Mr. Big Chops. Check out this fucker guy, man. He's just freaking pathetically, ridiculously awesome. Look at that. Whoa, I'm big and massive and stupid. But seriously, Tex is gonna start crushing here. Go straight for they retreat as soon as they see the Swarm Lord, but Tex doesn't react in time and does waste his charge, which means he's going to be very slow getting into this battle, and this could be a problem. But down goes the Space Marine Global, and I still haven't you know, I just can't find a place to learn the names. Oh, there goes the freaking Hive Tyrant. That's shield was not enough. And HamDuck says, well, there we go. I'm out of here. Wow. And out comes the Land Raider for HamDuck. This is quite a bizarre turn of events. Super units all over the place. And the Land Raider actually in this particular matchup I think is a better choice. I mean, its burners and all that kind of, like its weapons are particularly good at dealing with a melee orientated enemy, which is what Tex really has at the moment. Like, I mean, he does have the Terminate Broods, but you know, Swarmlord and you know, Gene Stealers, his most dangerous units are melee. Okay, so his Tyranid is bulking back up, and again, splat. Oh my god, look at those tactical marines absolutely crushing those Terminate Broods, Tormagants, or whatever the frick they're called. Get the hell out of there. And some scout squads, and these scout squads are most likely going to be placed inside this thing and left with their default weapons. And they can pop out and repair, and at the same time they're able to put extra DPS coming out of that thing. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these massive big tanks that you see in some of these games. I mean, see how well it does, but in all honesty I just don't think this is the choice that it really should have. Oh, Tormagant Brood is going to go down if they get out of there. Oh my god. They just get through with their life. Wow, that was an absolutely crushing defeat. And yeah, there's a lot of problem going on here. This Swarmlord is not in a good position right now. I mean, he's not taking a lot of damage from those people, but oh, halving error straight into the back node. Meanwhile, there's some capping going on in this node. It is worth noting that he does have Crusher's Claws, and he's had that since the beginning of the game, which is the vehicle weapon. And you can really see the difference between the super units here. I mean, this unit just is not even in the same league as the Swarmlord, in my opinion. And Tex sees the reinforcements coming in because his whole army's back and just hits the skedaddle button. And of course, instead of coming in for the reinforcement to push that kill, which is something that people really tried too hard to do, he's instead done enough damage that it's completely out of the fight for a while, and sending his brood to take. Oh my god, look at that smite! Holy shit! But then the point is, he sends his freaking swarm to go get some VP caps because it's so important at this stage of the game. Ooh, this could be all she wrote for that. Oh no, he switched targets to the. And you can see how that really doesn't do a lot of damage. Another huge smite going off. And this librarian is in a lot of trouble if he doesn't get controlled pretty damn quickly. And that's going to be enough to give him a bit of space. The heal does go off, and then he's going to run to the safety of that vehicle. Oh. If only he had his third war gear that allows him to do that big AoE knockback, he probably could have killed this thing by disrupting that repair. So, a little bit down. He does have the red. Does he have the red? He doesn't quite have the red for a Tyranniform or whatever, which would have probably taken that out. And again, no clicking on the repair. I don't know whether that's intentional. But he is fortifying his VPs at the moment. He's got the massive big machine over here, and he's got this warrior brood over here. They are going to do some decapping and harassing the power, but their main job is to protect this VP. And we've got the Zoetrope coming out. I'm not 100% sure. I guess he wants to use the healing aura to keep his Swarm Lord on the field longer. And this push here was most likely going to send this into the bin of rubble. Is he going to charge? No, he's not. I thought he would charge the Devastator squad. Here comes these guys to fix it. He's going to charge into his base here, which is going to mean he's going to take a lot of damage, but this is going to go down, this Land Raider. And these scouts might go down. Is this going to be the first die scouts? Salute. Hear those chain swords going off, but they're not going to save them. The Devastator squad needs to be pulled out. Probably would have done a lot better in that engagement if he'd charged that Devastator squad first. And again, multitasking with the capping to try and keep the all-important VPs, and HamDuck is, once again, you see it again and again and again in replays. If a super unit like the Baneblade, or in this case the Land Raider, is dealt with, then they have nothing. He does have the wreck, so we could see, and here it comes, a Terminator squad right on that Zoetrope, which has to get the hell out of there right now. And that came just a little too late to really save, and unless he is getting the cap up the top, and he does have a cap going on the side over here, but these Terminators just might be just a tad too late to really be able to control the game. Oh, Veil of Time trying to save this dude. These Gene Stealers should switch. Oh, nice smite, but they should switch to the Librarian, which they do, and he is going to go down. Bye bye, Librarian. And yeah, whoa, we do have a 3 cap going on at the moment. Tex, of course, in his beautiful unit preservation, just hasn't really lost any units, as in none. So he's going to really be able to control the map, and he's going to split his forces up now and try and cap on multiple positions at once, while the Swarm Lord and the Gene Stealers try and control these Terminators, which are pretty much the only threat on the field. As in, they are the only threat on the field. And there we go, there's the concede. And that's something that's huge in Dawn of War, of course, is that because the characters level up themselves, like these are level 2, if you haven't lost your squads, which is the goal of Dawn of War, is to not lose your squads, and someone else has, and they buy a new squad in tier 3 while you've had squads around since tier 1, that squad is just no match. So again, a really good match. Tex showing why he's considered one of the better players, and HamDuck really putting up a valiant and gallant fucking defense. I mean, I do disagree with the Land Raider choice, but at the same time, I couldn't stand up to Tex even half as well as that, so very impressive. Okay, have a quick look at the stats for all those people who give a rat's, which is not many. Come on. Okay, so, and click. Yes, very interesting. Oh wow, these numbers totally mean something. Yes, these numbers actually have meaning, which does worth looking at. I mean, it's so worth looking at these numbers because we really care about them, especially points. I'll tell you what, those are so important. But yeah, seriously, not that interesting. We did see 0 commander kills for HamDuck, and I was very surprised. I didn't really see his Mastercrafted Boulder ability going off at all, but I do miss a lot of things. Anyway, hope you liked it.